Hi, I'm Casey, and I spent the first 35 years of my life pretty fucking unhappy. There's the baby down there playing. But the last 2 years have actually been the hardest years of my life, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm 39, I'm gonna be 40, and I have completely changed my life around, and I'm gonna show you just a few simple things that I do every day that literally have changed my life. So, backstory, at 35, I had 3 kids, and I decided to get divorced. One of the best decisions I ever made, not because it was an absolute terrible marriage. I mean, obviously it wasn't great, I wasn't happy, but only because it forced me to see things inside of I'm watching him over here, sorry. Only because it forced me to see things differently and to see things inside of myself that I needed to change to create my own happiness, because I had spent my entire life seeking out seeking out validation from other people, and it got me nowhere. I felt very unsafe. I felt very unseen, unheard, unvalidated, unloved, and it was all because I didn't know how to create those feelings inside myself. And you're never gonna find that outside of you in somebody else. It's so cliche, but it's like you can't make someone else happy if you don't know how to be happy yourself. And so that's where I was in my life. And I kind of started going down this rabbit hole of spirituality. I got a text. I was kind of started going down this rabbit hole of spirituality about 4 years ago. Manifestation, law of attraction, frequencies, all of that nature. No, sir. And I became absolutely obsessed with all of those things. But it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that I was starting into a position where I had to make a choice, and I had to really start implementing the things that I was learning, or continue to live my life in the same cycle over and over and over again, because I truly believe the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is going to give you the same life over and over again until you see the lessons that are presented to you and you decide to fix those lessons and like fix yourself, and kind of Kabbalah calls it your tikkun, so the problems inside of you that you need to fix. So about 2 years ago, I unexpectedly got pregnant, and that's a whole other story on intuition and how that came to be, but it became a very high risk pregnancy, and I ended up giving birth at 25 weeks, and he was in the NICU for 6 months. And prior to that, like I said, I had been seeking outside validation my entire life, and I was terrified to be alone, like both literally, physically, spiritually, like in every sense of the word. I was terrified to be alone, and it all stemmed, of course, from childhood. When I was little, my parents would leave, and like they had a very busy social life, and they would go out and they would do things and leave us alone. And I was scared, I was terrified, I was always alone. And so as I got older, I was always in relationships. I always had like a best friend. I always had to have like a best friend, and I was with that person all of the time. In high school, it was the same girl all of the time. We stayed the night together all of the time, even on school nights. And then from there, I was always in relationships. Up until really like a year and a half ago, I've just always been in a relationship because I was terrified to be alone. And the last relationship that I was in, even though we didn't live together, we stayed the night together probably like 90 to 95% of the time. And the nights that we didn't stay the night together, which he literally lived down the road from me, but the nights that we didn't stay the night together, I was terrified. I'm talking the heat or the air would kick on in the middle of the night, and I would jump out of my skin. I was terrified. I would leave lights on all throughout the house, like terrified. And then with him being in the NICU for 6 months, I was put into a position where I had to be alone every night, because his dad and I would take turns up at the hospital, and I had 3 other kids, so I would have to come home and stay with my other kids at night, and then I would go up and visit him in the hospital during the day. And so I was literally in no other choice or position in life but to face my fears. And that is exactly what I'm saying, is God or the universe is going to continue to put you in the same situations until you learn from them. And first they start out as maybe small situations, you don't even realize what it is you need to work on, but eventually you are going to have these huge boulder seasons in your life where you're going to be forced to change something. And that was it. Like, I had to change my life, and I had to conquer this fear, and I had to stop seeking outside validation, and start implementing these things that I've been learning over the past couple years, but I hadn't really been implementing them. And so yeah, so I had to start implementing them. And so these are the couple things that I've been doing the past probably year to really change my life around. And like I said, it has been the hardest 2 years of my life between my pregnancy and my health scare, his health scare, navigating my 3 other children and navigating relationships and friendships, family life. It's been a lot. And so I've kind of changed a couple little things. I don't have a lot of time, right? I have 4 kids. I don't have a lot of time to do. Okay, can I help you, sir? Hold on. We're gonna have to wrap this up quickly because he's not having it. But I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of the things. I don't have time to meditate, for an hour on it. I used to be big into meditation, but anywho, a couple things I do. Brush my teeth with my non-dominant hand while looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I am huge on self-love and self-worth. I think the only problem you have in this world is the way that you love yourself. And so I've been working on that a lot this past year. And here you go. Brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand helps to create new neural pathways in your brain while saying an affirmation. I believe affirmations are really hard to penetrate through your analytical brain unless you're doing something to break that pattern, like brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. So I do that every day. I also am really big in speaking my life into existence. I speak the things out loud that I'm wanting. Currently, again, I said I'm working on self-love. Living my life in fulfillment and happiness. And so I say those things out loud numerous times a day. Just driving down the road, I say out loud to the universe, I'm living my life in fulfillment and happiness. And I'm teaching others to live their life in fulfillment and happiness, because ultimately that's my goal, is I want to help other moms who are in this cycle of like living every day just to get by. Like I'm so sick of just getting by. I want to fully live my life in fulfillment and happiness every single day, in the mundane every single day. So I speak that into existence. I'm talking about speaking things into existence, or rather not speaking them into existence. I try my hardest, and I've been doing this one for a while, but really lately, I'm not speaking negatively, right? I'm not saying, oh, life is so hard, or oh, I'm so stressed. Like, even though I do get very stressed, again, with 4 kids, I'm not saying that. I consciously take numerous deep breaths throughout the day, and I'm talking big, deep breaths. Fill your belly with air. Completely blow, exhale, all of it. Like big, intentional, deep breaths, relaxing my body, stilling my mind. Numerous times a day I do that. And I'm teaching my kids to do that as well, because a lot of us weren't taught emotional regulation and intelligence. So that's been a big one, as I'm trying to lead by example. Oh, he's about nap time, so he's having a fit. The last one I'm going to talk about in this video is I've recently been listening to subliminals. I have been weary about subliminals because they're subliminals and you don't really know what they're saying, and I'm just kind of a scaredy cat. But I found this girl. She's on YouTube. I'll post a thing of her right here. The High Frequency Guru, I think is her name, and she has amazing subliminals and rampages, like are just affirmations said over and over again, and I'm absolutely obsessed with her. So I'll link her here, and I've been listening to her subliminals every night. And the other thing is too, is I have 2 kids that sleep in my room because we co-sleep, and I love the fact that they're hearing these subliminals as well. So these are just a couple things that I've been implementing the past year or so, and that have truly dramatically changed my life. And I encourage you to try some of them if you're interested.